All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing People of the Earth by W. Michael Gear and Kathleen O'Neal Gear, the writing team that has written probably 60 or 70 books together. Plus, they've written individual novels themselves. In fact, I've met W. Michael Gear and Kathleen O'Neal Gear before and had a lot of my books signed. I'll just pull one of them out. This one was by Kathleen O'Neal Gear, and I got them signed. Anyway, I always show off my signed books. In fact, I've collected every book that these guys have written. If we pan through my library, they're down here. I've got three shelves just full of their books entirely, all of their series. Anyway, some of my favorite writers in the world. Now let's talk about People of the Earth. This is part of their series of books they did, probably 30 some odd books about the Native Americans, and each standalone novel about Native Americans throughout the history from the Ice Age all the way up till cowboy western times. So let's talk about the cover first, because I love graphic design and cover illustration. This came out in 1992. It's got a great cover by the artist Louis Royo. He did most of the covers for all of these books, and he was instrumental in creating a lot of great book covers in the 70s, 80s, and 90s for a lot of science fiction and fantasy writers and publishers. Okay, so this starts out, well, this also has a map. It's also got a little map for us. It starts out, the setting is the western United States at the end of the early Archaic period, some 5,000 years ago, I believe, during the migration of the Uto-Aztecan people. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's UTO-Aztecan, Aztec, the Uto-Aztec people. And we open the book with a construction site, a modern day construction site, wherein they are digging to build something, and they find a shark's tooth in an area where a shark's tooth shouldn't belong. And the shark's tooth has a hole drilled through it, like as if a person has. And so they're like, well, this is going to be an archaeological dig because we found some Native American artifacts here, and we don't want our construction project to be delayed at all, so we're just going to pretend we didn't find jack crap, and we're just going to bulldoze through all this stuff, and because we don't want the construction. And this is real. This happens. I mean, I remember growing up in Sevier County when I was in high school, when they were constructing I-70 through Sevier County, Utah, and they found some Fremont Indian ruins and some pit houses, and they stopped construction on the I-70 project for quite some time while they excavated all that, and archaeology digged all of it. I don't think that's how you say that. They did an archaeological dig on all of that, and it delayed the project for a couple of years. But it's great because now there's a nice, right there next to I-70 in Sevier County, Utah, there's a nice Fremont Indian Museum where you can see the pit houses, you can see all the artifacts they dug up, and you can see the red rock walls where the Indians, the Paiute, the Fremont, everybody that lived there drew the petroglyphs, hieroglyphs, I don't know, on the walls. I don't know which is petroglyph, hieroglyph. I don't know the difference between those two. I once upon a time did, but I don't anymore. You guys correct me. Anyway, that's how the book starts. And then we jump to the main story, which takes place, 5,000 years ago. It starts out with a man named Sage Ghost, and all of his children have died in either childbirth or through strange accidents or or whatever, because I mean, this is 5,000 years ago. Kids didn't live long. But he's a very sad man, and his wife is very sad because they don't have kids. So he goes over to the next clan and kidnaps a young girl from the next clan to surprise his wife with a new kid. And that's what happens. They raise this girl that he kidnaps, and her name is White Ash. Years later, when we jump to years later, when White Ash is an adult or a young adult, in her late teens, and she recalls being kidnapped. She knows she was kidnapped by Sage Ghost. But the thing is she loves Sage Ghost and his wife. They have been her parents for her whole life. And that's an interesting dynamic that the book takes on, is that, I mean, okay, you could go that one route where the little girl knows she was kidnapped and she longs and yearns to go back to her regular family, and she knows that what happened to her is wrong. But no, the interesting part of the story is the young girl is kind of like, well, these people were super nice to me. They loved me so much, and they provided me with a magnificent life, and she doesn't hold any malice towards them. And they love her back, clearly. I mean, on the back side it says, a sweeping epic of prehistoric... I don't even know why I bother reading. We'll edit that out. A sweeping epic of prehistory. People of the Earth brings the true story of the ancestors of today's Native American peoples to life in an unforgettable saga of hardship and passion, of a woman torn between two peoples and two dreams, of two men who love her and the third man who must have her, and the vision given to the peoples long ago by the spirit of the wolf. So yeah, this girl grows up. The main story is young White Ash and her adventures in this clan that she doesn't belong to. She's not blood relation to this clan. She kind of falls in love with a guy named Windrunner, who's of course handsome and noble and sort of rescues her from a few different bad situations. He's kind of a good guy. Really, I will just tell you, nobody's really a good guy in this book, and nobody's really a good girl. I mean, it's got some morally gray characters. But anyway, Windrunner, he's all these things, and she loves him, has a crush on him. But he's her cousin. Not by blood, but everybody thinks that they're cousins. And so their love can never be consummated or even acknowledged. So there's that conundrum. And then there's another gentleman called the Brave One, who's a pretty famous warrior in this clan. He's ugly, but he's entitled. He thinks he's God's gift to everything and does everything. You know, he's kind of the bully, one of the bullies of this book. And he tries to take advantage of White Ash in many different ways. None of them good. And so she's contending with that. And then there's Bad Belly, who is just a psycho. He's just a killer, a psycho. And he's got his aims set on White Ash. So there's three men, all who want this young woman, and they go through their adventures. And of course, the clan that she's stolen from and the clan that she now lives in, of course, they're rivals. They have problems. It's just a pretty good adventure novel. It's partly a quest novel too. But it's another great entry in the the Native American saga that W. Michael Gear and Kathleen O'Neal Gear started and have continued it's continuing on now. I mean, they still write new books in this series all the time. So I liked this quite a lot. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 stars. It's a very good book, good addition to the series. People of the Earth.